Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are a thing. Can I get a wee audio check in the chat, please? I'd like to welcome everybody from the stream. Hopefully, we're going to have a good one. I've got some interesting topics to come up to cover tonight, so hopefully, it's all good. And looks like Ragnar Orange Bar's in here. YouTube have just sent me an email to tell me that I'm live, which is always good on. Paka, hello chaps, how's you? Resisting the Lies is in. Just been doing some digging into my family tartan, as admittedly I didn't even think I had one, and given my surname derives from the Pictish area, but fuck's sake, we do. It's a bang tidy mung too. Excellent, Resisting the Lies. Glad to hear that. We're going to need to get serious about getting you on and Scott's Armour on to do this one about the Highland Games. We'll need to look into that. 1 second, people. Somebody is fucking ringing my bell, which is not expected. Hello? Right. 1 second, people. Talk amongst yourselves. Right. I hope I haven't lost too many people. Sorry about that. I had a small problem. The retards that live next door locked themselves out of the building, and I had to go down and let them in. So that was that. Anyway, I'll catch up with the chat. Anglo-Saxon saying, good to see you. Lovely Emma G, lurking and working. Hope all goes well with you tonight. Sansom saying, what about you, chum? But can sort that out. Just need to get my head sorted before I can commit to researching, etc. No problem, chum. Ragnar, what about you, Ulster brother? Glenn Coe, welcome aboard. My family tartan is McClan, Titless et Feud, us, brave and trusty. I take it that's also the family motto. Yeah. Yes, no, let me know. Just want to check, let's say hello to everybody that's actually in the chat. Paka, pleased to have you here. Ralphie's having a late one. What about you, chum? Glad to have you here. And yes, I think that's us pretty much caught up. So, just before we get into the content, hello and welcome to anybody that come over from Clan Motto. Right, yes. I knew it would be close along the lines. That's it. Excellent. Yes, big welcome to anybody come over from the Amigos News channel. And if you weren't over in our channel previous to this, if you like my stuff on a Saturday night, it's a pretty good bet that you're going to enjoy theirs as well. So maybe next week drop into them beforehand. Uh, what else we've got? Ragnar Arnspear is going live tomorrow at 6:30, I believe, with a call-in show. Uh, I believe he has Samson Communion booked on as his first guest slot, so that's going to be good. And then that'll obviously follow you on to Scott's Armor. And Samson Communion on Tuesday night is starting back up his Samson's sensibilities. He's got a show, he's got a teacher, he's got a teacher in that's going to be talking about the state of the education system and stuff. That'll be good, interesting. Then directly following that, John Davison will be streaming, and I believe I shall be the guest. So if you like what I'm saying here, you might want to listen to that. Tonight's show, as usual, we're looking at British traditions, cultural traditions, and things that we do that are uniquely British. Whenever I'm on with John, I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but it'll be a different form of content, but it'll be the same sort of opinions. And I think there was people sneaked in there. I need to say hello to Rory Herbert. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you on, chum. And Co. Emma G. Ralphie thinks. Raymond Paper. If I've said hello to anybody twice, I'll apologise. But that's how it goes. Real Vincent Griffin, glad to have you aboard, chump. Thank you. And with that, we're going to Spanish chicken. Always good to have some chicken, Spanish otherwise, about the place. And with that, we're going to head towards our first Ulster, the last British stronghold left on the planet. I don't know. I think there's other British places about, but I would put money on it that Ulster will be the last British place left. For a whole combination of reasons. Nah. Let's see. Get some content up on the screen. And we'll get on to our first topic. And with any sort of luck, we've actually got the site that we've got the one that we wanted. I'm going to zoom this in just a little. Zoom in. Share screen. Share screen. Right. Can everybody see that? Yep. Everybody see that okay? Hopefully they can. Right. First thing we're going to talk about is Rushbearing, which I hold my hand up to. I knew nothing about this before last week either. Generally speaking, how I prepare for these streams is on Sunday or Monday after the last stream, I have a look into what British traditions are going on in the week ahead, and then I spend the week looking for the best links and a bit of research. And Rushbearing was one of the things that came up. So I'd never heard about this either. If you're thinking it's pretty new to you, I'm going to give you a overview. What you're seeing in the picture now is a Rushbearing cart that would have been brought through the town or village, and this stuff is coming from Kirk Heaton History Group. How credentialed they are or otherwise, I honestly don't know, but most of their stuff seems to be checking out with what I've read from other places. Just going to take a quick jump back into the chat to see if there's anything I need to be addressing. Yep. Samsung Humans telling that we're seeing the stuff on the screen. Glenn Coe's got a thumbs up. And Ragnar may or may not be stalking resisting the lies. It's all good. Right. Hide that comment. And we'll get on this. Rushbearing. As with most churches in the 14th and 15th century, Kirkheaton St John's Church had no seats for the congregation, and since the floors were of beaten earth, it was covered with dry rushes. The likely source of the rushes would have been the nearby area of Water Meadow. One such area to the south-east of the church is a field which acts as a floodplain. Get my teeth back in. When Oxfield back floods, where the rushes probably grew. The history of Rushbearing. Every church at its consecration was given the name of a patron saint, and either the day of its consecration or the saint's feast day became the church's festival. Church services began at sunset on Saturday, and the night of prayer was called the Vigil. Eve or due to Vigil Eve, due to the late hour, woke from the Old English waken. Each village had a wake with quasi-religious celebrations, followed by church services, then sports games and dancing. A wake in Ulster is generally something that happens after a funeral, where, well, actually, prior to a funeral, it would be between death and the funeral, and we have a wake where we basically get drunk. And that's as much as I know about wakes. It usually took place at the latter end of August on public notice from the church wardens of the rushes being mown and properly dried at some marshy part of the parish where the young people assembled. The carts were loaded with rushes, flowers, and ribbons. These were conveyed to the church by the populace, many huzzing and cracking whips by the side of the rush cart on the way to the weather, where everyone would lend a hand in carrying and spreading the rushes. So we'd have this cart here thing with the people, and they would be a bit boisterous, to say the least. Get back to where I was. During the Middle Ages, the floors of most churches and dwellings consisted of compacted earth, and rushes commonly sweet flag, a chorus column, and other herbs and grasses were strewn over them to provide sweet-smelling, renewable cover for insulation. The household roll of Edward II from 1307 to 1327 shows a payment due to John de Carford for a supply of rushes for strewing the king's chamber. So this wouldn't have just been done in churches. This would have been done in houses as well, as a basically a renewable carpet is what these rushes were done. But there was a ceremonial aspect to doing it for the churches. In the church warden's accounts for St Mary's at Hill, London, payments of 3D for rushes are shown for 1493 and 1504. And in the parish register, the church at Kirkham, Lancashire, disbursements for rushes are found in 1604, 1631 for 9 shillings 6d, but not but now after 1634, when the church floor was flagged. At Saddleworth, then in Yorkshire, the church floor was covered with rushes until 1826. The churches associated a particular day in the calendar for the rushbearing, and by the 16th century, it was customary to ring the church bells and provide wine, ale, and cakes for the rushbearers. The festivals were more elaborate with mimetic and representational elements. An account from Castleworth in Yorkshire from 1596 said that the people did arm and disguise themselves, some of them putting on women's apparel, others putting on long hair and visage, or arming them with furniture, arming them with the furniture of soldiers, and being there, thus armed and disguised, did they that day go from the church, and so went up the town, showing themselves. The festival often attracted unsavory characters such as peddlers, cut pushers, and pickpockets, and became the pretext for heavy drinking and otherwise quiet communities, such that even pillars of the community would occasionally disgrace themselves. So, what I found interesting in this bit was uh, is that these rituals, uh, have went from Inquisitive Billy. I'm going to get this. These rituals went from, in some areas, have obviously went from being quite formal affairs to being an excuse for a party, which generally does sort of happen. Uh, the whole disguising yourself thing, which is also common, and that would be more of a Halloween tradition. And I'm finding with a lot of historical cases, they're taking whatever traditions there were and mingling them into one. Because we even had this coming up at the summer solstice stuff. Uh, so how accurate that is, I'm not 100% sure, but the overbowl of the stuff should be there. Cross dressing is generally something that's done whenever there's thought to be spirits about, so that they don't embarrass the spirit whenever they are have a normal frightened reaction to meeting the spirit, but then that would embarrass their deceased relatives. Oh, gee. Catholics have a wake between the death and the funeral, normally with an open coffin, and pay respects. It's it's not just a Catholic thing. The Protestants in Northern Ireland do that as well. Uh, a lot of people would nip into the room to have a wee drink with the deceased. There has been cases where the body has made its way to the pub. Uh, Sense and Communion is on the job. Billy Blogs, it's a tradition. Yep. Why not cover the Catholic Church in the Republic of Ireland? On the right, I'm not getting into that just at the minute. Cross dressing. I don't quite sure that that's true, but the BBC may well be saying that all 12th century churchgoers were BM, and the ceremony was called Windrushes. uh, Back in the day. Yes, Samson's doing a good job of summing up. Thank you. Uh, Churches had no pews. People would sit in the bulrushes, gathered from nearby water sources. This is following. Very good. Hello, Kate. Glad to have you in. Kate Raymond. PA Talk. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the stream. Kate Anglo. Yes, we do get the kiss and goodbye. That's part of the traditions in Ulster. Right. So I'm going to take this one down. And I'm going to have a look at my other link that I have on this, which is similar but slightly different. Also, the problem with the system we have where our history has been fucked about with from arsehole to breakfast time. Yes, our history has been fucked about with from arsehole to breakfast time, and it's hard to know exactly what did happen, how these ceremonies went. Just need to zoom this in a bit. Zoom in. Right. Here we go. Also, there is a possibility that these traditions change from village to village. This wasn't just a one-off thing in one part of the country. Uh, so it's quite possible that things different. These rituals were carried out slightly differently in different parts of the country, or even different from village to village. So we're going to look at this next bit. Pop this up. Right. Hopefully everyone can see that. I'm going to hide the current comment. Just checking. I said hello to Kate. Hello, Kate, in case it didn't. Emma G is still managed to do the work on lurk thing. All good. I hope you have a quiet night. Yes. If you see this picture here, you've got the 6 young girls who are carrying a blanket or a quilt of some sort, and the rushes are inside that quilt. So here we go. Kashmir's famous Rushbearing Ceremony is centered on St. Oswald Church in the village. The ceremony has ancient origins. Originally, the floors of churches were simply composed of compacted earth, which was strewn with rushes. Rushbearing is a ceremony whereby the floor rushes and the church were renewed. The floor has been paved to Kashmir for many years, but the tradition continues to be upheld. I think these people may have been maybe a bit closer to the mark than the previous bunch, because it seems that whenever the necessity for doing it because of the flooring, it's been kept as a ceremonial tradition. The Rushbearing Ceremony is held annually and features colourful processions through the village streets with burying maids from rushes and flowers. In this procession are 6 maids of honour dressed in matching green costumes, carrying a white sheet holding the strewn rushes. A brass band, the church choir also contribute, and all who wish to join by carrying their own decorated rush bearings are allowed. In 1887, the rush bearings were described as tall poles decked with rushes and flowers, carried by boys and girls up to the age of 15. Crosses of rushes would be laid on the altar, and there would remain there for 1 week after the ceremony. The festival was widespread in the British Isles from medieval era, and is recorded as being well established by the time of William Shakespeare. It had fallen into decline by the beginning of the 19th century as church floors began to be flagged with stone. The custom was revived later in the 19th century and still continues in 5 Cumbrian churches, which include St Mary's, Amberley's, St Theobald's Church, Great Musgrave, St Mary and St Michael Uswick, and St Columba's Church, Workhop. Canon Hardike Ramsay, in his Life and Nature of the English Lakes, described Ambleside's 1830 ceremony. At 6 o'clock in the evening of the last Saturday in July, we all met, 100 or more, and then an old man played on his fiddle or his pipe, and off we went, then and round to the village. 1 second, I need to close my window here. Sorry about that. There's a bit of a commotion going on outside. Right, where was I? The old man plays fiddle and pipe, and off we went round the village, up the streets and down, to the same old tune. We only knew one tune in those days. The hunt is up, and so up the hill to the old chapel. There were put our burdens onto the corners of the big square pews and left them till Sunday afternoon, and then came back to the cross for our gingerbread. Folk came for miles to see the procession, and Wordsworth never missed. He and the bridal party would sit in our little room to see the procession start. And as for Hartley Cartridge, Owen Lloyd, and Fibber, nothing we do, but they must go along with it. For Hartley loved children and was, as you may almost say, a child amongst them. The ceremony is honoured in St Mary's in Ambleside with the 26-foot long mural containing 62 figures. A 1905 painting of the Greshmere Rushbearing Ceremony is displayed in Greshmere Village Hall. Greshmere currently celebrates its Rushbearing Festival in mid-July. It was formerly held on the Saturday nearest August the 5th, and which is why I decided to do that one on this stream. What is happening on the fucking chat here? How did we get to this? The Ulster Scots are an ethnic group in Ireland who speak an Ulster Scots dialect of the Scots language, a West Germanic language, and share a common history as ethnicity. I'm going to have to go back here a bit. Right. Here we go. Rags is saying, I remember as a 7-year-old being taken to my room to kiss my grandfather goodbye. Yes, I have similar memories. Yes, Emma, you're missing all the free entertainment outside. No, there's nobody getting murdered. It's just got a little noisy. Vince Griffin. We're back to the Ulster Scots, and I'm going to do this because it'll peel into our next section. They're diverged largely from the same ancestors of those modern English people and lone Scots people, native to England and lone Scotland, respectively. Actually Pictish, and the Ulster Scots would have been responsible for building the mounds at Newgrange, which dates to the 5th century BC. That's how long the Ulster Scots people have been in Ulster and they predate the Scottish and Scotland as well. I don't think we speak German. Resisting the lies. It's a Celtic. It's a it's a Celtic Germanic, and they did not arrive until the Ulster Scots had been here for uh, quite a while. No, not straight after they died, Billy. Here's how it works: somebody dies, the Undertaker comes to take them away. They do the embalming, they do all that sort of stuff, get them sorted out. They bring them back to your house. Uh, then it would typically be taken into the coffin would typically be taken into their uh, bedroom, and it would lie there for until the day of the funeral, which is probably going to be 4, maybe 5 days, so that everybody comes to the house to show their sympathies to the family and to have a drink and eat and do all that stuff that we do between a death and a funeral. Would be able to go and say their goodbyes properly. And then on the day of the funeral, the Undertakers would screw down the lid. Billy, you're never going to see that. That's something that gets done in a closed room with just you and the person. It's not a ritual for everybody to watch, right? And so that is pretty much Rushbearing. And I want to get this on to a slightly more light-hearted theme. Uh, and I've got a little bit. Yes, Ragnar, I'm swiping a little bit of your content, mate. I'm going to share that. This is just a quick funny video. Uh, oh no, well that hasn't worked. Close that tab down. Uh, right. Why has that? Right. Hello, John. Glad to have you here. Well, I just my link hasn't sort of worked right. Just give us 1 second, people. Bear with me. We will not be long getting this sorted. Here we go. Well, this is strange. Right, how many channels do you have? And which one was your was the Irish customs check on? Because for some reason I seem to have copied the wrong bloody link, and now I have to go try and go digging for it, and it's not working so good. Here we go. That should be it. No, that's gone. Right. So we're going to have a bit of nitrous circus instead. Right. Yes. Bit of nitrous circus coming up as a palate cleanser before we go to our next bit of content. And let me just check the timestamp. 41. And we also need to let this ad play through, because nitrous circus are twats and give a non-skippable advertisement and everything. And while that's happening, I'm just going to check the chat. All fine. And that, right. Just check this, 841. Right. Right, so the link I was looking for was the Irish Customs check on the car where they were putting it in to check the petrol. Right, so we're going to nitrous circus. You know the drill here. Does that come up? It has. Good. You know the deal here. Something is going to go down the big ramp, and you can start putting your guesses in for what it's going to be. Anytime now. I'm going to stop it just before the surprise gets.
Let's go! Woo, let's keep it going.
Oh. Hold on, I have the wrong timestamp there. Here we go. What we're going to have is a guy doing this jump on a wheelchair, and he's not just going to jump it, he's going to do a double backflip. That's what we've got.
Scary. He really wants to do this. Got this. I know. Should we give him a third chance? Is this the try?
Yeah, third try's the charm. He wants to see a double backflip in a wheelchair.
Here we go. He drops in, third attempt of the night. One flip, two flip.
Oh my God.
Oh, just barely off the side. What do you think of that?
Here comes Curtis.
I'm going to guess that's how he managed to get himself in a wheelchair. That man has balls of steel. Because that's the third time that show that he attempted that double backflip and hasn't landed it yet, but he's still going at it. Now I'm going to let this play on, and yep. The good thing about here is I'll find the stuff you'll get nowhere else. And I thought I had the F-Wish. I'm gonna go. Do you want to see that again? We'll put that back a few seconds. Yes, I think we will. I think we'll get this back a little bit. And we're going to go from here.
This. I know. Should we give him a third chance? Is this the try?
Yeah, third try's the charm. He wants to see a double backflip in a wheelchair.
Here we go. He drops in, third attempt of the night. One flip, two flip.
Oh my God.
Oh, just barely off the side. What do you think of that?
Here comes Curtis.
gun trick. That's all he wants. Things no one's ever implemented before. Backflip through Betsy, grab your liquor.
Oh, King, Dusty Wago.
Whoa! That was I have never seen that done on a bicycle. You'll see him grab seats, never.
Supposed to learn from mistakes. Someone should tell him. That is always a possibility, but he does still have balls. My point with that is, we've got Mouse Cat in the house. Welcome, Trump. And there's something else I seen. Now, Rags found me that link. What happens if I click on this? That just puts that up on the screen. Right. Here we go. And we're off with the workaround. Yes, I know how I got this. One momento, people. And where am I? Yep. For reasons unbeknown to me, they are not putting thing on that. Now, where is this comment? Right. Let me copy. Right, I think we've got that. And here we go. That was not the link. Oh, that's priceless, Rory. That's brilliant. I would pay to see. I would pray to see Stephen Hawkins at that. Who else was landed in? Boss, have I said good evening to you, sir? I'm not sure, so I'll say it now anyway. And yes, it is impressive. Right. Right, that does not seem to be the link. Don't worry about it. I'll get it tomorrow and we'll use it next week. Yes, there is something boomerish about all this now, which is why we're going to let that die and we're going to move on to our next bit of content. Which is the other thing that's happening this week, and also something to do with the cause of. I was just 3 times in that one show, and they do that show like continuously, and he keeps on doing it. PA's got a good question. Where does the name 42 come from? Right. As all of you shall probably know, 42 is the ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. And that's why the name's 42. Although, to be fair, I will state that I do not believe I am the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything. Was it that obvious? Was it that obvious? Uh, right. Uh, but right. So why do I have a number for a name? Back in 2012, I left a 25-year abusive relationship, and somewhere in 2013, I began to talk publicly about it. Well, whenever I say talk, I thought you thought the answer to life, universe, and everything was 14. No, that's only the answer to. Uh, that's only the answer to the United Kingdom's or Europe's problems, not the whole universe. Uh, so yes, 2013, I began to post publicly and blog about the adventures of someone escaping a 25-year abusive relationship and all the crap that comes along with that. Whenever I started to do that, I obviously needed a screen name for doing that. The only thing I was 100% sure about whenever I went to get a name was that it wasn't going to be my given name, the one that's on all the paperwork and shit. So I had to think about it. My conclusion was that our court system, our legal system, uh, our provision of services for people in need of distress don't treat men as people, because you don't, if you're a genuine person, you don't go to the housing authority, the health department, uh, the equalities commission, uh, pretty much everywhere you can go for assistance, and them tell you, yeah, I can see that you've got a bit of a problem, but you're a straight white man with a job, so tell your story walking, and off you go. So at that point, I decided that men were treated not as humans, but as a number. And as I decided to have a part number as opposed to a human name, I decided to choose a good one. And I believe 42 to be a good one. Uh, and that's where the name 42 comes from. As Emma G alluded to, there is a poem about the name. Yeah, well, we'll do that. It's called Why 42. Why 42, I hear you ask? What lurks beneath that writer's mask? Is it humane? Does it have a brain? Has it simply gone insane? I say names of her people with humanity. Since I live with her, that does not describe me. I'm more a machine. I function, I toil. Look in my veins, there's no blood, only oil. A machine needs no name. A part number will do. So I chose a good one. I chose 42. But I've no need for pity. This machine feels no pain. So I'll work on that number until I feel human again. And hold on, a couple of things I need to go through here. Kate's got work. But I hope all goes well for you tomorrow. Do you fancy being a guest Wednesday evening? You can pencil me in as a 99%, and I'll get back to you on tomorrow. In the description of this video, or any of my videos, you'll find my email address. It is, actually, I'll put it up on the chat. get that into the chat. PA Talk. Yep, drop me an email and also let me know what time on Wednesday evening it starts at. And Vincent Griffin just yes, Hitchhiker's Guide to yes, Billy Blogs, as in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe and the Improbability Drive and Never Forget Your Towel and all of that stuff. Yep, email me. That's the easiest way to actually get a hold of me, but provisionally, yes, I'd love to come on. And also, if you could give me an idea roughly what you want to talk about. Oh yeah, I might. There is that. But yeah, just drop me an email so as we can get it organized. I'll come on. Oh, Vincent, nothing to be sorry about. That's all. That's never going to stop being funny. Nah, where was I? Our next bit of yep. Right. It's my link's all messed up. Right, here we go. What the hell's going on? Right. Hold on. Nature Circus. Different Irish. Which right. Here we go. I have to do a search on the fly here. Sorry about this, people. Right. Here we go. StreamYard. Sure. Yes. So the other thing that's happening this week, is the parades for the relief of Londonderry. Premium paper. 69 is also a great name. Right. I don't see the memes before, so I'll do mouse cat. Right. Yes. So the part of the noise that was outside was probably due to people coming back from this event. But there you have it. So we're going to do a little bit about the Relief of Londonderry, which the parade for it is on the second Saturday in August. The associated clubs of the Apprentice Boys of Derry assemble in Londonderry to celebrate the events of August 1689 and the Relief of Derry City. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. There's a little bit about the end of the siege itself. Having endured 105 days of attacks, hunger, disease, and death, the inhabitants of Londonderry celebrated the ending of the longest siege in British military history. The celebrations have been an annual event since 1690 and are kept alive in much the same format to this day. The main elements of celebrations have changed little in hundreds of years. The crimson flag flies and the bells ring from St. Columbo's Cathedral, as requested by Colonel Mitchelborne. Although the original cannon on the walls are no longer in working order, a cannon is still fired on the walls. And just like in 1690, a parade around the city celebrates the end of the siege. Perhaps the most important part of the day's celebration is a service of thanksgiving in Columbus Cathedral, which played such an important role in the lives of the besieged. The uh, the bit about the crimson flag, where the crimson flag comes into play, whenever the Williamite ships arrived in the foil to relieve the city, they thought that the people in the city were doing okay and they were holding back a bit, and they got a white sheet and covered it with blood because there was a lot of blood about. A lot of people were wounded, injured, all that sort of stuff, and the hoisted that. At that point, the ship's captain realised that no, things weren't going so good, and he came in, broke the boom, and relieved the city. Celebrations of today. Although parade routes have changed over the years, the day follows a similar pattern each year now. The traditional celebrations are now held annually on the second Saturday of August. The celebrations begin at midnight with the firing of a cannon on the city walls. The parade around, I would say actually they begin the night before with the bonfires, but I'll come on that in a minute. The parade around the city begins at 9:30 with the 8 parent clubs parading around the walls before walking to the cathedral. As the parade passes the War Memorial in the Diamond, a wreath is laid in remembrance to our fallen brethren and all those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the defence of civil and religious freedom. At 10:30 a.m., the service of Thanksgiving begins at St. Columbo's Cathedral. The main parade around the city begins at 12:30 p.m. at Craigavon Bridge, led by the General Committee of the Apprentice Boys, followed by the parent clubs, with each of their branch clubs from across the UK. The parade passes through the city centre before returning to across the bridge and up Ari Street and back down to finish at Bond Street. The day's events end with the 8 parent clubs returning to within the city halls, finishing at the Memorial Hall. So that's just to give you a quick, brief outline of how the events are celebrated. I'm not going to go into all the details of the Siege of Londonderry now. I'm going to do that probably in December at the beginning of the siege and Lundy's Day. So the other thing that I did want to point out about this is the other thing that I wanted to point out about this is, where's the one? Yeah, this little quote that I'm going to dig up for you. Siege of Londonderry. Right, yep. Here we go. Share screen. Chrome tab. Yep. This bit here that I'm going to highlight. Lord Macaulay, in his History of England, when writing of the siege of Londonderry, said, "A people which takes no pride in the noble achievements of remote ancestors will never achieve anything worthy to be remembered with pride with by their remote descendants." Uh, I think that is actually quite poignant, and we need to. It's a very good reason why we need to keep in touch with uh, what our predecessors have done. I'm just checking through the comments here. Nothing really I need to really get involved with. Yep. Right. Yes. So that's a bit about Siege of Derry, or Siege of Londonderry. Exile Viking, glad to have you on board. Thank you. And our next little interlude. We've got this little bit of fun. Here we go. This is just loading up. Here we go. And like I say, I always like to make sure we'll have something different and unusual. So get this back to the start and get us up the shore. And we're going to have a quick look at. It was part of a Jacobite rebellion. There's been quite a few of them. The Williamite Wars were where the Jacobites come over from, along with their French mob, to Ireland, and William III swallowed them and chased them back to France, took control of the King of England, the crown of England and Ireland. So I hope that answers that for you. And now for something completely different, we're going to have a little bit of extreme ironing.
God save our gracious Queen. God. Our noble Queen, God save our Queen.
No surrender.
Victorious, happy and glorious, long to win over us. God save our.
So that's the shittiest shit I've seen today. Yeah. Well, it can't always be somebody doing a double backflip on a wheelchair over a big fucking mega ramp. But I'm going to knock this off in a couple of seconds. I'll show about another 30 seconds of it. It's just a bit of madness. So here we go. So that's I'm only half an hour in the day. Yeah, it is madness. So that's a quick look at Extreme Ireland. I have no idea how that stuff is scored, what the actual aim of the game is, how you fucking become a champion, or any of that stuff. It just all seems a bit mad. But like I say, all of our silly sports can't be excellent. Right, so where we're going to next? Yep. Yep. Next link coming up. Back to StreamYard, share screen. Share screen. Share screen. The other thing that's going on at the minute is that Edinburgh Military Tattoo. I'm just going to take a quick look in the comments before. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much up to date with everything I need to actually delve into. So, yes, the other thing currently going on is the Edinburgh Military Tattoo. So we're going to have a quick look at that. The word tattoo was adopted by British Army officers during the 1740s when they were based in Flanders, Belgium. British military seemed to spend an unduly large amount of time in Belgium and Flanders field, and it never did seem to do anybody any good. During the War of Austrian Succession, it is derived from the Dutch phrase "tap toe," used to order bar owners to turn off the taps of their beer kegs so that drunken soldiers could return to their barracks. The tattoo evolved into a ceremonial form of evening entertainment performed by military musicians. And in 1950, the first Edinburgh military tattoo was watched by 6,000 spectators on the Castle Esplanade. Now almost 220,000 people watched the tattoo over its 3-week run, and around 30% coming from Scotland, 35% from elsewhere in the UK, and 35% from overseas. The Edinburgh Military Tattoo is staged in August during the Edinburgh International Festival, which includes the famous Fringe Festival. There's a show each weekday evening and 2 on Saturday. The tattoo performance has never been cancelled due to weather. The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo is televised in 30 countries and watched by 100 million people each year. It has raised more than 5 million for military and civilian charities. In 2010, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth awarded the Edinburgh Military Tattoo its royal title to mark its 60th anniversary. The event's patron is Princess Anne, the Princess Royal. So far, more than 30 countries have been represented at the tattoo. Regular visitors include the band and drill team of the King's Guard of the Norwegian Army. In 1972, they adopted a penguin from Edinburgh Zoo as a regimental mascot. The tattoo has performed in the shadow of Edinburgh Castle, the most popular tourist attraction in Scotland, with 1.2 million visits per year. The castle is said to be home of the ghosts of the headless drummer and piper who play on the battlements. Over 6 million worth of tickets are sold each year in Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, and every performance for the past 13 years has been a complete sellout. The best source of tickets for this thing's from 2011, by the way. So it's just telling you to go to Ticketmaster. The British adopted the practice, and it became a signal played by the regimental corps drums and pipes each night to tavern owners to turn off their taps of their ale kegs so that soldiers would retire to their billets at a reasonable hour. With the establishment of modern barracks and full military bands later in the 18th century, the term tattoo was used to describe not only the last duty call of the day, but also a ceremonial form of evening entertainment performed by military musicians. Although the first tattoo in Edinburgh, entitled Something About a Soldier, took place at the Ross Bandstand at Princess Street Gardens in 1949, the first official Edinburgh military tattoo began in 1950, with just 8 items on the programme. It drew some 6,000 spectators seated on simple benches and scaffolding structures around the north, south, and east sides of the Edinburgh Castle esplanade. In 1952, the capacity of the stands was increased to accommodate a nightly audience of 7,700, allowing 160,000 to watch live performances each year. Military tattoo is a military drum performance. Tattoo nowadays also include the army displays more than just the drum performances. Tattoo was originally started in the 17th century when the British Army was fighting in the Low Countries. One of the best known tattoo events is held on the esplanade in front of Edinburgh Castle in August. This palace forms the centre of the annual Edinburgh Festival, and the rest of that is just about different army tattoos in different countries, which, to be quite honest with, I have no fucking interest in what anybody else is doing. They can all do their bit, we can do our bit. The castle is about the only Scottish place of interest that's not had a White Lives Matter banner hanging off it. That's interesting. Rory Herbert was at school with Major General Richard Riddle Webster, who served as governor of the Edinburgh Castle from 2015 to 2019. He presided over many tattoos. That's good. That's interesting. Right. Right. Now, let me have another jiggy. I think I have check. I think I have another bit to say about this. Right. Yep, I'm going to bring this up because there is something interesting on it, but we're not going to read all of this. We're going to do a little bit of skipping because some of it we've already covered. And I'm going to jump to this. PA Talk, never been to Tattoo yet, but he lived practically on top of that. I have a question for you. What's it like living there during A, the Tattoo, B, the International Festival, and the Fringe? I would be quite interested in that. And what's TJ saying? Just the size of it, fucking massive. This is a great place for you to plan your civil disobedience. All right. The place is full of freaks. What a surprise. I want to zoom this in a bit. I actually really like this picture. I think this is class. No, I don't know how I'll fuck him a dick. Right. We're going to be doing a bit of circling back after this. Set against the backdrop of Edinburgh's imposing castle, the Edinburgh Military Tattoo is one of the most special events in Edinburgh's calendar, bringing together audiences from across the globe. Edinburgh Tattoo celebrates the skills, talents, and military bands display teams from British Armed Forces, the Commonwealth, and military teams. There are few such moving festival moments, and a fact to which any of the over 220,000 people who experience it live every year can attest to. Not to mention the further 100 million watching it on television around the globe. Audience get into the spirit and stamp and cheer to the sound of the military pipes and drums, clap to the Highland dancers, and watch in awe at some of the daredevil feats of the accomplished motorcyclists and intricate marching formations. The sound of the bands can be heard throughout the city, followed by the cheer of the audience and roar of military jets flying over the city, and finally the glorious fireworks, the colour of the night sky. The history of Tattoo. This is where we're doing most of the skipping. Yeah, that's quite a nice image. I like that with the lights. For visitors attending the iconic event, expect spectacle. Hundreds of dancers in the floodlights, never setting a foot out of step. Displays of marching and drumming prowess, and more bagpipes than you can ever imagine, playing in perfect harmony. What makes the whole thing even more impressive is the knowledge that it all comes together in just a few days of rehearsal. Getting bagpipes to play in harmony, That's a feat of magic on its own, says he. Who had to go learn how to play a chanter as a child, and that was never good. So I think that's pretty much us all. He does tend to have people come on when he's finished covering it. Yes, I'm going to open this up very, very shortly. And if somebody wants to come on, they can come on. What I missed, what I meant the show earlier while we were talking about the Siege of Londonderry, never did speak about the bonfires. So we're going to have a quick look at the bonfire, or one of the bonfires from outside or around the city. We're going to have a look at something else that is unique to this. The artillery salutes from the Edinburgh Castle using 306mm light guns is very impressive. Yeah, that would be good. Yes, I want to share screen window. Does that come up? It has. Need to get that comma out of the way, and I think I could actually make this a little larger, move it a bit. Tullahally, Londonderry. This is the bonfire that was lit on the Friday night. You will see that at this point in time, that bonfire has a Union banner flying at the top of it. What will happen? Probably approximately half an hour before this all gets set on fire, somebody's going to be climbing up there, getting that Union banner out of the way, nice and safe, and replacing that with a effigy of Lundy. And I'll show you what a Lundy effigy looks like. Now I'm going to grab that. Share screen. Now, yeah, sort of like the Wicker Man. This is what an effigy of Lundy looks like. This one's actually from the London Day Parade. Lundy was the mayor, the governor of Londonderry during the siege, and he was of the opinion that they couldn't hold out and that they should give in. And the next day, he was removed from office. He had to sneak away off into the night and get himself hid, because he was for the people who were determined to hold out were less than impressed with him. And to this, up to this year, an effigy of London gets burnt in London. Well, effigies of, because they'll get burnt on the second Friday in August, and also the Lundy Day Parade in December. This is an effigy from the Lundy Day Parade, and this white bit with the writing on this one is the end of all traitors. That could be that could be changed. Another one that's commonly used is just the name Lundy the Traitor, so that everybody knows exactly whose effigy it is that they're burning and why. With that, I'm going to stop that share, and I'm going to open this up. And if anybody wants to come in and have a bit of a chat about any of the stuff we talked about tonight, or anything else for that matter, it's a totally open debate. We can talk about absolutely anything. On you come. So there's the link in the chat if anybody wants to. What is DJ saying here? I can't tell if that's a real say or no, to be honest. If it is, then that would be good.
1, 2, 3.
Yep, got you loud and clear.
Right, how you doing?
Not too bad. How's yourself? Welcome to the stream.
Yep, no problem. Just not deleting, just deleting. I'm not deleting anything. I'm muting, I should say, YouTube. It's been a long day. I've been up since 3:30, so yeah, long day. How are you?
I'm doing good. What the hell had you up at 3:30 this morning?
At work. I started work at 4. I finished about 6:20 tonight, and then I think I fell asleep about 7:45 and woke up about 10:30. I checked Telegram, and I don't even know where I saw it, but this stream was being advertised, so I just clicked on it, and I've just been listening ever since. Been laying on the sofa with my eyes half shut listening, so I start commenting as well. So it's always good when you've got an interactive chat. It's always pretty good.
Yes.
So how's things, man?
Things are doing great. So I take it this is your first time here?
Yeah, it is. It's certainly not my first time to a live stream. So
yeah,
no,
no. I obviously knew it wasn't your first time to a live stream, but it's your first time on this live stream. It's really, really glad to have new people arriving along. Something must be going right somewhere. DJ is bringing himself in here, so I'll bring him in and we can say hello to him. How did you find it?
Bring himself. Be honest. Make it sound like. Make it sound like he's grabbed himself by the scruff of the neck and chucked himself through a door. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's just do you know what? I'm as I said in the comments about half an hour ago, you had some boomer issues trying to get your links together. That can be a pain in the ass, and it's the sort of thing you really sort of want to get sorted out before you start streaming. I'm very lucky that I've got a very good technical guy that sits backstage for me and really, pretty much does all that for me.
Well, I just want to say that you know what's funny about that is like it's the polar opposite for me on the streams, because I'm supposed to be the tech guy for Scott's Harbour, and every fucking stream I make a mistake. Like, it's common practice for me. Like, you know,
well, actually,
you need to stop relying on me.
To be fair, like I have actually right. Let's share this. I've got a Pages document up with every one of the links to the night, what they were, and of timestamps and stuff and everything. But whenever I was copying the links in, I seemed to have went somewhere wrong at that stage. So I thought I had them, but I didn't. So I maybe need to check those a bit better for the next time. But
yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Like every stream, well, normally the streams I do by myself. If I'm not like with Scott's Harbour on a Sunday, I make mistakes. It's always the least one, and you get pure red face, but you get over it. Like
it's not, streaming. It's not easy, especially if you, as you say, you're trying to add links and talk about your different sections. It does get kind of challenging, especially when you've got to do the talking and then you're also fiddling around on another screen trying to do something else too.
Or if you're using very old tech, like I am currently, I'm using a laptop that can't even have Windows 10. It freezes all the time.
Even the timing, even like the PA Talk introduction, just getting that timed so that's ready to go. You hit live, you hit the second live button, and then literally you start running the video. The minute it says live, you've got to run that video. Even that can be off sometimes. I mean, sometimes I notice it's like off by a couple of seconds. But what annoys me is Mark Collette's terrible for it. They're obviously sitting watching like the Odyssey and not StreamYard, and they're sitting there for about 20 seconds without saying anything. And we're like, yes. There's a 20-second. Just watch it on StreamYard. Don't bother watching like the YouTube or the Odyssey version. Just watch it all on StreamYard, and that keeps you right.
You do. That's one thing about Mark's streams. You get the creepy stare for the first like 10 seconds, the awkward silence. But now here, I will say this though. I when I was listening to your stream on the Wednesday. Fair play is for the banner in Dundee, like the sheer size of it. No, it's not even like take the media backlash out of the equation. It's always nice, add the salt to the wounds, but the fucking size of it, man. I mean, when I did the banner drop back in 2020 with Kenyon at Urquhart Castle, like that was hoorna heavy and it was tiny in comparison.
That was his 5 meter banner. Actually, if you look at that banner. That exact banner, it's like the history of White Lives Matter banners in Scotland. That 5 meter banner is the same one that I used. If you look at our pictures, I borrowed it off of him and used that for Crichton Castle, Berwick Law, and Trap Rain Law, down sort of around this area. But the big 11 meter banner, that's currently nestling in that must be the most infamous banner in Scotland now.
Yeah.
Oh, there was the same banner we used in George Square as well. Kenny's banner. So that would have been the banner you
was it well. Like I'm just curious because just the size of it, like I take it that was extremely heavy.
Yeah. The one we humped up when we humped up Ben Nevis was twice the size of the one you had. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a proper banner material. It was a material called what's the name of the material? It's an industrial material. Do you know if you get like a 1 ton bag of stone for your garden?
Yeah,
right, key lines. See that material of that bag? It's kind of like a plastic Hessian, right? It's that, yes, but thinner. So it actually wasn't that heavy.
That's the big bag that comes on the back of the truck with the 2 handles at the piece of the thing.
By the way, that sort of material.
Somebody attempted to come in here. Just want to give you a shout. I'll tell you what happened. That this setup will only let me bring in 3 people at a time. Really? I couldn't even see. Yeah.
Who was it?
I don't know, because you know the way you get the box at the below the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that box has just come in here. I can see the top bit that's grey and the bit that would normally have the name and the ability to... It's under the mute, start cam settings, all those buttons over the top of that, so I can't get at that.
You should be able to scroll down. I mean, you should be able to, if you don't pay for streaming, you should be able to get 6 people on.
Yeah, just zoom out or something. I didn't even know you could have. Oh, it's Rags.
It's Rags.
What are you saying, Gidgey?
I'm on. No, I'm on, and you fucking ignore me, you cunt.
Oh, I'm taking no part of this, like.
You're balky. Rags, you of all people. Rags, you of all people. You of all people should know that sometimes things don't go quite right whenever you're working with that stuff.
No, well, most things over here go bang.
I think we're gonna need some subtitles, I think, for the people watching your stream. Like,
oh, geez, here he goes again with his fucking Scotchness.
No.
Rags, have you had a wee drinky poos?
No, I've had a couple of pints.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the Ramadan, like.
Yeah.
Oh. Ramadan. Oh, I'm on Ramadan.
Oh, no, that doesn't matter.
I am now a religious follower of Alan Snack Bar.
Oh, really.
Yeah. Well, say, you were asking about me coming on your stream.
Yeah.
What time on Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Or sorry, Wednesday.
9 o'clock Wednesday night. 9 o'clock.
Well, that'd be good.
I'm 99.9% sure I can make that, mate.
Right, good. I've actually, this is episode number 49 coming up. So episode 50 was trying to get a big American guest on or something like that, but I'll probably have to settle for Kenny Smith. But no, well, funnily enough, he was my first guest, and he might be the 50th guest as well. But I'm looking for a sort of a big name American to come on. But it's it's proves difficult to get hold of some of these guys sometimes. As I say, I've actually asked Ed Dutton. I'm just not returning my emails though.
I have Big Sam from Peter Alternative coming on.
Who?
Big Sam.
Oh, right, aye, Sam. Aye.
And
how the fuck do you get all these guests? Like
Irish shows.
Sorry, Sam Millier.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because he's fucking hawking himself for Yorkshire bloody winning in the.
No.
That's what it'll be. Hawking himself for that.
I'm not happy with that. Like, it can't be that. No, I've got a feeling that you might be right. That it's going to be.
I think so. I think they're going to try and. I think they're going to try and pull the rug out from underneath this year.
I think that's nepotism. There's an element of nepotism, like they just don't want Scotland winning it for 3 for 3. Like that's what's happening here. Like,
I still say you still got to say, DJ, that picture that Kaelin took up in that you and Kenny did. That's still the actually optically. The best actual photograph that's actually been taken.
Oh no! You know, like we went to two separate locations that day. We went to, and I can't even remember the name of the bridge. Me and Kenny and Kaelin and whatnot. There was supposed to be a fourth guy coming with us, but he eventually pulled out. He actually pulled out that morning. But we were looking about for a secondary place to go. And we found this. I found it not in Invermorriston. That was it. Invermorriston. There's a bridge in Invermorriston which is quite like infamous or famous, if you will, historically speaking. Admittedly, I'd never heard of it, but what an adrenaline rush, I have to say. Like it genuinely was a great experience. But we got. I don't know if Kenny's ever said this to you before, like or Kaelin, but we got caught. we got caught when we were at Invermorriston at the bridge. We were holding the banner out, and Kaelin was up on the bridge about to take the photo. And this guy walked past, and he's seen me and Kenny holding the banner, and he shouts down, "Oh, all lives matter!" And like Kenny just like. Instantaneous schooling, like just shut him down like that. Like I can't remember what he said. I mean, if he's told you the story, you'll know what I'm on about. Like, but I fucking hell, man! Oh no, what's happening? Like, because when we all decided to go home after we took these photos, like 4 police cars drove past me when I was on the way home. I was like, was that because of us? Like, I don't know.
No, they're not. They don't. We had about 2 weeks ago in George Square, about 3 police cars passed us. They just, well, it was 2 coppers. 2 coppers are going to go, there's a dozen or so guys there. Let them do what they do. When they've left, we'll call it in, get the council up, take the placards down. And that's actually the sensible thing to do rather than jumping out and, trying to chase us off and causing a fracas.
Here, lads, we've got a question and we'll sort of go round in the order. So say, Resisting the Lies, right?
This one, you're gonna love it. I'll
ask the lads their opinion on the raid on Trump's gaff. I suppose I'll put my 2 pence in first. I reckon that it's a load of theatre.
You're gonna love what I've got for you, but continue.
Right. I think it's going to cause as much problems as the Russian collusion, the quid pro quo, and all of that bollocks that they're just throwing one thing after another. Trump, I don't think it's got any legs. I don't think that he's done anything that they can really get him on. But I don't. That's just my thoughts, like from afar. But I could be wrong. Say.
I mean, look, Trump is still the major political opposition to the Democrats in America. They see it. They know that he's probably the number one candidate to stand as a Republican nomination in a couple of years' time. By the sounds of what I'm hearing, is that he's got a very good chance of winning again. So they've got to try and sort of smear and do what they do to discredit the guy. And that's just the Democrats being snidey and them, essentially. I mean, really and truthfully, do we expect anything else?
Yep.
Sweet.
Right. Resistant. Get us with it.
Wait. I'm just trying to find it. Okay. Let me share my screen for 2 seconds. Somebody sent this to me in a chat that I'm in, right?
The fucking Secret Service. See you later. No. You know what I mean? Unless they were just as big much a part of it.
It was actually the lawyers that they were met with, and they didn't even show the lawyers the proper search warrant. Whenever the search warrant was released on their side that Trump asked for it to be released, it was a very, very, very broad search warrant, and I think it's more street theater.
Yep. Totally agree. There was the likes of Dangerfield and all, and I love Dangerfield as channel and stuff, and he sort of projects things and stuff. But he's sitting going, Trump's our guy, Trump's our guy, Trump's our guy. Trump's not our guy. Trump's fucking photograph with Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum this year, shaking hands and fucking hugging each other. And we all know what fucking Klaus Schwab's all about.
Well, you know, my wife is an American citizen. She voted for Trump both in 2016 and 2020. Basically, I think it was the best option at the time.
Oh, but without a doubt, he was the best option. But he was never, he was never what some people at the time considered to be our guy. You know, I mean, he spent more time. He never ever used to make any reference. He would throw out the metaphorical red meat, but he never ever actually made a reference to white Americans. You know, he was too busy bootlicking fucking BAMEs. You know, he was never.
Totally agree.
I started YouTube in 2016, and that was around about the time, like during it was on the run up to the campaign between Hillary and Trump, and I did make the mistake, admittedly, of believing that I thought Clinton was going to win. As opposed to Trump, because it was like too obvious the system hates Trump and whatnot. But I was never off the belief that he was our guy, and it's since proven to be the case. He's a fucking dickhead. I just don't like him, and I hate the argument as well. And this is no disrespect. I genuinely just despise the argument that he's better than the opponent. It's the equivalent of saying I'll vote Tory because Labour are worse. Like, no, fuck them, fuck them all.
Well, I don't know. With respect. I think it was a little more than that. You know, I think as a businessman, you know, not a politician, I think a lot of people support him for that.
Got bailed out. He got bailed out. He got fucking bailed out.
Well, he did. Yeah, but I think that's a lot to do with the system in the United States, not necessarily his own beliefs.
Just goes to show where his loyalties lie now, because he's under the fucking thumb. That's my opinion. But I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying I just don't like him.
No, but fine. We can agree to differ.
I don't know. As much as I know that Trump is not the actual answer to everything, I don't think he was far enough outside of the political elites and the swamp creatures. I don't know. He could, if he comes back again, he may have a better idea of what the chessboard actually looks like and achieve a bit more. No matter what happens, he's not going to do what anybody in this chat wants.
No, yeah. Let me just, sorry to interject. Let me clarify just one thing quickly, and then I'll leave the floor to whomever else. Right. The one good thing that came, the one positive that came out of Trump, right, was the movement. in America that came off the back of him, because it's still, even today, it's sort of shifted the Overton window, so to speak. And conservatives or Republicans in America, they can't get away with the same proverbial talking points they once upon a time we'd have got away with saying. They can't do that anymore because they lose votes, they lose support, and there is an organic movement that's been built on the back of Donald Trump. Now, let me also say as well, Donald Trump might genuinely have had decent intentions when he began, and maybe when he got into the office, the Oval Office and whatnot, he realized that the system was against him and he wasn't able to fulfill half of the promises that he made. I just personally just never really got bought into the Trump phenomenon, so to speak. But you can't take anything away from the fact that on the back of Donald Trump, a movement has been born in America, and fucking more power to them, like, as far as I'm concerned.
No, that's true. That's actually true. But Trump promised when he was elected he was going to clean up the swamp.
And build a fucking wall. Where's that wall? Like
Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are still in power.
Yeah, but to be fair, Ragnar, I think until he actually got inside that job, he had no idea of how entrenched the swamp was and how hard they were going to be to remove. There is a possibility he could come back with better people around him and do a better job of that. But the one good thing that has come out of it, he has exposed how vitriolic and dirty the Democrat Party was, and I don't think you would have got that without him. And I think that has also been a game changer, because there's a lot of people that were going along with Democrats that have now had to have a look at them because it put everything out in the light, and they could change. I don't know.
But 42. Do you not think the Democrats are very much like Sinn Féin here in Northern Ireland?
I think they're two different animals.
Import the vote.
No, it's not even a matter of importing the vote. I think there are differences in how in those two parties. I haven't thought about it enough to put my finger on it, but I mean, if you were talking the SNP Sinn Féin, I would say they could very much be the one party. I think the Democrats are slightly different.
They're two chiefs of the same marshal.
Pardon?
They're two chiefs of the same marshal.
All right.
The SNP and Sinn Féin.
Yeah, I mean that's very, very clear. I think
42. Did I ever tell you that my wife was actually banned from Twitter for suggesting that Nancy Pelosi go jump in a lake?
Fuck it up.
Yeah.
Strange enough, she's actually a lifeguard herself, but obviously the algorithm doesn't take that into account.
Yeah. Oh, I got banned off Twitter as well. For a day for transphobia. I wasn't even talking about transgender people.
Oh,
like no. Like there was some guy, this fucking faggot in Scotland, was on about like open borders and all this stuff. So my response was I quoted him, and then I put underneath it, I just cut your cock off, you'll be fine. That's all I said, right? I know it sounds I got banned. I got fucking banned for transphobia. I don't know what. It wasn't even a dig at trannies. But this is when
Jesus Christ. I'm on my third fucking Twitter account.
I don't even know if I follow you on Twitter, to be honest. I haven't been on Twitter in ages.
I'm not banned from Twitter, right? Apparently not, but what do you see this? This is what happens whenever I try to go to Twitter, not even the log in or anything. This is the only thing I can get whenever I use my computer to...
Oh, Elon Musk chunks, can't we hate boner for you? Oh, he didn't even buy it, did he?
You're not banned now. 42. You give it about 4 days after Wednesday night. You're going to be banned.
Will you see this? This is fucking hilarious. This is what happens whenever I try to go to Twitter.
What the fuck?
It looks like this page doesn't exist. Here's a picture of a poodle sitting on a chair for your trouble.
Oh, you're
Looking for this?
Off, like.
The page doesn't exist, but the Twitter emblem's there.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm pretty sure Twitter's not down worldwide. But whenever I click on a link to Twitter, and then I went out and looked up. Who to look up?
Just out of curiosity, 42. How many accounts have you had banned?
None.
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 Oh, fuck. Oh, they're like.
I haven't nothing banned. I've never had a face. I've had a few up to 15-day bans on Facebook. I've had no problems whatsoever with Twitter. But here's the thing. What I'm very careful about is, I'll stop that screen share. I don't go onto Twitter and argue with leftists. I just go out and post my stuff or whatever. I don't get into protracted arguments with leftists. I don't do the same. Like, I'm heavily involved, not so much now, but was very heavily involved in the men's rights movement. And I was entrenched in that. There was a lot of bans going about, but I don't go to feminist pages and argue with them. I just post out my own stuff. In 2012, I was admin pages during the flags protest, and pages did tend to have a life expectancy of about 3 weeks. And the one that I was on stayed right through the whole thing. But then again, I was careful about who I allowed to come in, because you don't get banned for what you put out. You get banned for who reads it and whether or not to report it.
I think I got banned. I was basically being warned, saying, "Oh, you know, the tweet." What I used to do was just share PA stuff and retweet PA stuff. Essentially, act like a cheerleader for PA on Twitter. And they basically said, you know, we think you're spamming this. You know, you've got the retweet button. You're telling me that I'm spamming, you know, things, but because I'm retweeting this and retweeting Laura and retweeting Mark, and that was all I was really doing. And we had they chucked a sort of a blanket ban on a load of us back in December, I think it was. I mean, myself, Kenny Smith, a couple of the PA regions, I think Horace got banned all on the same night. So that was like a sort of a concerted effort from them to do that.
Yeah. A couple of things I want to respond to. Billy Block using Apple, yes. See whenever they come up with a better thing for making memes and shit than a MacBook Air, I'll consider changing, but until then, no. Raymond Piper has a follow-up. Don't the lads think Trump would reverse all the crazy suicide policies of the Dems? Not all. I think that
Here, let me jump in there for just 2 seconds. One thing that I should probably give credit to Trump for was he did pull America out of the what's it called, the Paris
the Paris Climate Accord.
But I don't know if Joe Biden has pulled them back in. Well, quote unquote Joe Biden, but that's one good thing I'll say.
Yep. The other thing is he was on his way to pulling them out of NATO as well.
He did what? Sorry.
He was on his way to taking them out of NATO as well.
The best. Like
there are some things that there are definitely things he would get right, but I don't think it would be carte blanche reversing all of it. You know.
But 42, are you talking about the same NATO that were told by the Russians not to surround them 15 years ago?
Yes, that same NATO, that's pushing us into a war with Russia.
Yeah, and they have surrounded them for the last fucking 15 years. and now they're trying to add extra countries.
It's longer than that. It goes back as far as the removal of the Berlin Wall.
Right.
Right. There was talks and deals done before that Berlin Wall came down that NATO would not move 1 inch further to the east, and the day after the Berlin Wall came down and started moving to the east. That's how far back this goes. And
we have American children and British children appearing in fucking Germany in the military, defending against what? Vladimir Putin.
Rags, I really don't want to go into the whole Russian thing.
No worries, but
yep, that's as on YouTube. That's as far as I want to go into the Russia thing and any current conflict there was, because my channel, I start expressing my unfettered views about that. My channel's got a life expectancy of about 30 seconds. I don't want that.
Okay, 42. I have a subject that I'd like to bring up with Cy in particular.
Ooh.
And it concerns wristwatches.
Oh, God.
Yes, indeed. And in particular, a certain make called Bremont.
Bremont, yep.
Because he mentioned it in a chat a while ago that it wasn't a particularly good movement. So I thought if I put my camera on, I can show you the watch, and then he can comment on the movement. So we'll see how we go here.
Right.
There we go. So there's the front of it.
So that's a Martin Baker you've got.
That is a Martin Baker.
Yeah.
It's also an unusual one. You can see there's my little avatar on it underneath where it says Bremont, and also a regimental advance. Now I'll turn it over. Here we go, and we will see.
That's also right. That's also a regimental strap, isn't that?
It is. Now, Si, please tell me that is a cheap movement.
Unless they have, unless that's a special edition. If that's a standard Martin Baker, then it will have a tripped up case. It is essentially, I'm not saying it's a bad movement, but what it is essentially an ETA movement, which is quite a generic movement. They have Kosh certified them though, which means that they have been sort of put through sort of rigorous tests, etc. And they do run to within a certain time frame. But it's
a chronometer, indeed. And you might be able to see also it's number 23, and they've also actually engraved my initials on the bottom of it, which was rather kind of them.
Yeah, that's nicer than I. But I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like saying, you know,
I'm not having a go.
No.
Sorry, not at all.
You can have a.
I'm just responding to your comment.
It's like saying a Volkswagen. It's like saying a. Oh, what's the diesel engine? See, there's a 1.6 diesel engine that's in, you know, a Citroen C3. It's a Nissan van. It's in, you know, it's a good engine, good solid engine. Sometimes you can tune. They'll be tuned up and put into, you know, different sort of faster spec cars, if you would. They are essentially at the core the same engine, if you see what I mean. And
I'm just taking off my current watch.
And the ETA is
there you go. God, what do you think of that one?
That's nice.
It's a Raymond Weil watch, Swiss made, but it's not English, I'm afraid. But I thought I had to buy that. I bought that in 2016 for Brexit.
Say, I'm getting a vibe here that you might be a watch guy.
I'm not so much anymore. I was a watch guy. This is how I pretty much got doxxed, was through my there's old videos of me on YouTube on other channels now, talking about watches, and I've always got a Bremont. I had a Bremont, was the first sort of luxury watch that I had, and I'm certainly not saying they're bad watches. I think the English brothers who Giles and I can't remember the name of the other brother who run Bremont watches have done a very, very good job of sort of talking up their brand. They've created an interesting sort of, bulldog kind of nationalist British brand. They've got a nice big factory on Henley on Thames. But like a lot of watchmakers these days, they do use generic movements in it. I'm not saying that Bremont are bad. That there is a lot of case technology in them as well, so they are pretty hard wearing. I mean, my Supermarine, you could throw it at the wall and nothing's happened to it. You try that with like a Patek Philippe or something like that, and you break them.
They have just developed their own movement. Actually,
I got a question here. Have you heard of a brand called Delma? Delma?
No.
No? Right, that's okay.
Short answer is no.
Right. I have a watch. I believe it would be expensive for like a normal person. It's not. I don't believe it to be like a big exotic mega expensive one, but for a normal working class person, it would be quite expensive. It's made by a company called Delma, but I don't know what the value of it. It was I got it as it was the company I work for. If you're there for 25 years, you get a watch. So I went to jewelers and chose the watch and whatnot, but there's no prices and anything. So I was just looking for a rough idea.
I have no idea.
There you go.
I've never heard of them, I'm afraid.
Right.
Never heard.
Yeah, but 42, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I think that was very traditional, wasn't it? If you work for a company all your life, you get a watch when you retire from the company.
Yeah.
In the good old days.
It was codified into the company that I work for, and they haven't been able to sort of get away with it. So once you're there 25 years, you get a night out in a watch.
Well, the problem is nowadays you'd probably have to pay tax on it, as a gift. I remember when I was working for a company, and they'd give us turkeys every Christmas, to all everyone in the workforce, and then blasted HMRC inspector would come round, and he'd say, "Oh no, we're going to have your workforce is going to have to pay tax on that, and also on the Christmas party if you spend over a certain amount." It's madness. You're not allowed to be kind to your workforce anymore because the government will just take the money from them.
Yeah,
I don't know how many. Sorry, I don't know how many people would appreciate the sentiment of a watch these days.
Can I share my screen, please?
Yes, go for it.
I was listening. I have no fucking idea about watches, but I've been trying for the last 10 minutes to find what the thing that Twitter said to me when they banned me for my penis removal.
Okay.
I really have to show this.
Right. So we'll have a look at
his penis removal.
Yes.
They actually fucking banned me for this. Yeah.
Yes, but could we also find it here as it's snoring?
It's
the only one that's not speaking.
Yeah.
Don't do that like that. That's the equivalent to getting a lol or an indeed.
It's completely utter madness.
Oh, fuck.
Let's see. What else have we got to talk about?
Oh well, don't get me started. I could.
So we're talking about wristwatches. I mean, collecting in general becomes very samey when you the amount of comparisons you can make. It's like guitars, everything's compared to like a Fender Stratocaster, and with watches it's Rolex, and with cars it's Porsche. It's either better than or worse than, and then you see the similarities in. And I've said this before, you go better than a Porsche, you start getting into your Ferraris, Koenigsegg's, Lamborghinis, that sort of thing. And you're buying skittishness and fragility. And it's the same with watches. You go above Rolex to JOC, Patek Philippe, etc. You start buying fragility as well. So you might have the performance, but as somebody once said about a Bentley Continental GT and a Patek Philippe, what they got in common? You don't get them wet. You know, so there's always it's interesting to find what's the sort of what sets the bar, if you would. And in cars it's Porsche, and watches it's Rolex. And
I've got a question for you. I heard recently that Rolex are a charity.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there's some sort of. I actually think they're kind of state run in Switzerland, but there is some weird charitable status around them. They are a weird. They're kind of a standalone brand, if you would. I mean, they've not been bought out by anybody else. For argument's sake, like Omega is owned by Swatch, and who also own the likes of Longines, etc. So, yeah, there's this weird sort of entity around Rolex, and you can't buy their watches these days because everything's to order. You have to go on a waiting list for anything. So anybody says they just walked into a jeweler and just picked up a Rolex Submariner and walked out, or even got a 10% or 20% discount, which was always the bullshit that I used to get chucked at me 4 or 5 years ago. I went and you can get a 10% discount if you pay with cash. I'm like, no, you can't. It's cash is not king like that anymore. And there's a waiting list for these things. So why are they going to give you a 10% discount? Yeah, Rolex is some sort of charity, I believe.
Am I right in saying Rolexes were originally made in England? Sorry.
Yes, I think the way they were designed, and I think the guy originally founded it, did make them over here, and then of course it moved over to Switzerland.
Sorry.
Good luck, David Piper.
Do you think Rory
no, it's just that we started talking about fucking watches. It bored the life out of me. Fell asleep. I still watch some of the watch content now. I've clicked on there's live streams going on about it. I watch it about 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my god. In fact, there'll probably be something on about nowish regarding watches, because there's an Australian guy, he's the main guy, and of course he's like streaming at like 2 o'clock in the morning our time. It's like, Christ, the chat is really shit sometimes. It really is.
I did the same myself. So many years ago. Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, there's only so many arguments you can have between and this is, I'll tell you what, the internet vitriol is just as bad in the wristwatch community as what it was in the dissident right-wing community. I mean, you'd be threatened with death. True. You'd be threatened with death for you'd be threatened with death for sort of choosing a 16-610 Submariner over the 1610. Oh, that's the classic style. You can't have a 16-6. Death to you sort of thing. I literally, I mean, I had a position. I went to the cops about 6 years ago because somebody had absolutely spat the dummy out about me and threatened to murder my family on a live stream. Right, and I thought, and this was about
a wristwatch.
Yeah, this wasn't like a one-off occasion. This guy had like streamed for like an hour at a time, 2, 3, 4 nights a week, bringing me up and just seething about me. And I said, Jesus Christ, mate, it's the fucking watches we're talking about here. Do you know what I mean? Again, another one. He got called out for being a bullshit artist and didn't like it, and was a bullshit artist. Yeah, the wristwatch community. There is a wristwatch community. Quite as yes, it's completely changed now from when I was on it. But
this watch community. Come on, my god.
Well, do you know what? You get guys who are into, you get guys who are into everything and anything. I can imagine you get an older ladies crocheting community, and there's probably backstabbing and bitching and maybe not threats of violence, but and do you know what? It's really weird as well, because you can see the comparisons. You get like little splinter groups start up and sort of disappear off doing their own thing, and they're sort of always sort of goading and bitching at the main group. It's just the internet, I'm afraid. It's just the internet. And these people, and yourself, they wouldn't say boo to you in real life, and that's always the worst of it.
Oh, I had somebody. I had somebody one night offer to fight me, and I was like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll be at the corner of such and such street and such's crate in half an hour." And an hour later, I'm getting messages saying, "I was there and you weren't there, you cunt." And I says, "Fuck, I was there. I couldn't see you. Come back in 15 minutes." And then about 20 minutes after I was getting, "You weren't there." And I'm like, "You're the fucking dickhead that actually left our house."
Billy Blogs is asking the chat, is a Rolex more accurate than a cheap digital watch or a phone or a tablet? The answer to that is no. No, it isn't. And it's the weird thing is that the accuracy of the watch is kind of beyond the time. A Rolex will run within you'll have a tolerance, and this is what we're saying about brain. There's a tolerance of about 2.5-3 seconds a day, fast or slow. So if you're really sort of anal about it, every couple of weeks you maybe have to sort of put your watch back a minute or forward a minute. But no, the time on your phone will be just as, will be far more accurate than the time on a mechanical watch. But do you know what? It's not what people buy mechanical watches for. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. I mean, even the quartz watch is more accurate than the Rolex.
Yeah, I mean, Rolex are eternal. You know what I mean? There's
what have I missed in the comments that we're now in the crochet?
Well, I was saying about there'll be an old ladies crochet community somewhere online with bitching and backstabbing and
yeah. Oh, have you ever seen the yarn bombers? By the way, MG is very good at crochet.
Sorry, yarn bombers.
Yarn bombing, yeah.
No,
right.
Come on.
Right, talk away. I'll find a picture of some yarn bombing.
We're talking about the bowels of the internet and the sort of shit you listen to and watch at 2 o'clock in the morning. This is it now. We've become it.
No, actually, yarn bomb is actually quite cool.
I was going to say yarn bombing sounds a bit like cheese rolling to me.
Cheese
rolling. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we did the cheese rolling stream.
No, cheese rolling is important.
Yep.
Yep.
It is. We did that stream. Now, what am I doing? Yes. I want a new tab. Usually there's like 4 years there. Talk about something while I find this. Please.
I'm gonna have a wee look at the chart, see if Billy's niggling.
Oh, by the way, just gonna say we need our Dundee Law banner plugged like anything, just to ram up the Yorkshire types. Right? It was 3 banners actually. It was 4 meters by 12, 4 meters by 12, and the Matters was 4 meters by 15 meters. It's literally the size of the side of a truck. Right. It's ridiculous.
It's just the photos I've seen of it, man. It's just
the best.
It genuinely is a sight to behold. Like, just it doesn't matter what angle you're at.
I must admit, I'm a little bit the video, the compilation video we put out. I'm a little bit disappointed because you don't get. We released it yesterday. You don't get the scale of the size of the bloody thing. There's at no point you get that long distance drone shot, and then you get sort of close up footage of us like unraveling it, but it still doesn't quite give you the sort of actual size of it. If you look at the drone shot again, and if you look at where the bottom corners are between the 3 banners, between the end of White and the beginning of Lives, and the end of Lives and the beginning of Matters, there's actually people down at the bottom holding them down, and you can't see them in the picture. So you know what I mean? So it gives you sort of an idea of the size of them.
Is that on the PA Scotland Telegram? Like,
it's on the Odyssey channel now.
I'll have a wee gander there now.
Right. There's an example of yarn bombing on the screen. What these people do is they knit all this stuff and then they cover fucking statues with it.
Fuck's sake. That's ridiculous.
I think it's actually quite cool.
So you knitted a balaclava for a bull. Obviously, it's a bull statue, and somebody's like knitted a body balaclava for it.
Yes.
Well, it reminds me of that bull statue outside the New York Stock Exchange.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. The
oh, is it? Oh, right.
the charging bull with a knitted pink and black camouflage coat.
At the end of the day, whoever did that's one of these things where people didn't run up in the middle of the night and do that. That's been like done with the sort of the blessing and probably the help of like the local authority.
No, well, what they do is they knit lots and lots and lots of patches,
right?
Throw them on and then knit the patches together, or
right,
tie them together. So they'll have like 15 bin bags of patches, and then put that on because it's wool, it stretches, and then wrap it around, sew it off. That it would take a good organized bunch of people approximately 3 minutes to do that.
Yeah, it's quite cool actually. That, but as you said,
it is right. Yeah, it is rather clever.
They didn't do that. They didn't.
I mean, you've got to measure everything on it, get it all right. It's not easy.
Do you know what they were saying? Saying it was like probably the state or the local authority that helped them do it. You walk up with like high-vis vests on and sort of tackety boots and start fiddling around with this sort of thing. And the police will drive past you. Just think your work is doing stuff to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Packers made a comment.
Bullnet. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, so no, that banner was a pig to fucking make. That was 5 months in the making, that banner was.
Are you making those banners yourselves?
The big one was made ourselves. Yeah, I mean the sort of generic ones that we use, like the 5 meter one that Danny and I were talking about earlier, and like the 11 meter one I've got, we get them from Banner World. They just print them off for you. There you go, son. There's your banner. So we do get them printed from different banner companies. I've not had anybody knock us back for making a banner yet, I must admit. But the big banner was, we priced that up, and to get a 4 meter by 18 meter banner done by like a proper banner company was going to be like $2,000. So,
have you considered doing a big ladder job on a hill?
A big yes. It's finding, without going into too much detail, that was the original plan for that banner, was a hillside. But it's when you go and survey the sites and actually go and look up close to what you want to lay your banner on, so it's not as easy as it seems. I mean, I've had this out with some of our guys. I'll drop it over this cliff or that cliff and hang it from there. I'm like, well, yeah, okay, but that cliff, if you go and look at it, isn't like the White Cliffs of Dover, which is like a sort of a billiard board smooth top and then like a 90-degree turn and a sheer cliff. That if every cliff face was like that, it'd be easy. But most cliff faces aren't like that. When you actually get up to them, they specifically sort of grow like thickets and brambles across the top of them, so you can't actually get close to the cliff. And of course, the cliff is never a sort of a sheer drop as well. It's all sort of bobbled out and whatever. Then you have the environmental damage as well. I mean, we looked at a couple of sites and had a couple of rogue access guys, and it's full of nests. You can't throw a banner over that. It's just, there's nests there. And the last thing I'd want to do personally as well is sort of upset birds' nests. And of course, that would be pretty shit advertisement for us as well if we disrupted that sort of thing. So that was a no.
Basically, what you want is a hill above a population and a load of white plastic and a form of tent pegs.
That's what we did last Sunday.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what we did last week was just that. I mean, the whole city, and the long range photograph that you see that's been in all the newspapers, that was from the Tay Bridge. That was 1.5 miles away when that picture was taken. And the guy messaged, I could see it with the naked, you could read it with the naked eye from halfway across the Tay Bridge.
Oh, and you get bonus points if you can find it in the flight path of an airport.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I just watched the latest video on Odyssey. Like, I'll have to say, the there seems to be a hell of a lot of boys with PA Scotland now. Like, I mean, I don't know if like all the other groups have got the same amount of individuals, but you just don't see them in the imagery that gets released. But Jesus Christ, that's a white pill for me. Like, I mean, I know
we have a lot of face out guys. We have a lot of face. I mean, I'm face out now. So's Chief Moody. We've got another sort of 3-4 guys that are. I think. I mean, when look. Without sort of wishing to goad the enemy, I got doxxed, and you sort of sit there and hold your breath, and it's a bit like Dathif, the only gay in the village from Little Britain. He said, "I am gay." And he sort of braces himself with a sort of lightning bolt to come down from the heavens and strike him down. I was sort of saying, and then there's like nothing happened. And you realise that nobody gets. Even Mark Collette said, even after doing them 2 documentaries 20 years ago, he said he'd never once been accosted in the street because of those 2 documentaries. He said, and you spend the first couple of, everybody's going to know it's me. Said, nobody cares. No one cares.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. I mean, I'm at a point now, admittedly, like, if it happens to me, it happens to me. But like, I'm just,
I'll tell you what to do, right? Tell you what to do. Don't shit your pants. Don't shit your pants if it happens. Do you know what I mean? Just
if it happens, then it's too, like, I'll fucking deal with it. But I don't know if I'm really prepared to just show my face for the fucking sake of it. Like, but
I don't.
Though, like that's genuinely a white pill for me. Like, from just watching that, because I didn't realize how many boys he's had. Just some of those, because it was a compilation I watched. I don't know if that's a video you were referring to, but it was the latest video on the Odyssey, but. It looks like a lot of boys. Now, I mean,
16, it was 16 at that banner, and there was 2 guys taking photographs.
I mean,
sorry, 16, and another guy flying the drone.
Oh man, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, see, it's like it's just mad in the sense that for all the years that I've fucking made my wee videos and shit on YouTube, and don't get it twisted, I'm not saying that YouTube's the be all and end all. Like, I'm not delusional, but I remember when I was making my videos, the only other Scottish person I could think of was the guy called the Good Fella, like, and he like that was it. There was Millennial Woes, but he was just, having his shit with YouTube at that point, and it took so long for the likes of Calamity, No Chance to appear for a time, and then Chief Moody as well, respectively. And then obviously PA Scotland emerged, but for the longest fucking time, it used to black pill me thinking I was the only cunt. Like, so I'm saying that video there just kind of gave me a wee white pill.
I will say this about. Can I say this about Chief Moody? Right, whatever people think of Chief Moody's streams, right, and whatever people think about his YouTube content, that guy has balls of steel. That is one of the bravest guys I know. He's just. Absolutely. I mean, it's true they say that the stillest waters run the deepest. He is unflappable. And I've seen this in situations where I thought, oh, let's go get a bit. You think, fine. And then he's just absolutely just not bothered his ass. We got another guy that's like that as well. And he's the littlest, weediest guy you've ever seen, right? Yeah. And he will literally. They went out leaflet, and he said he come out. I just handed a gay couple the drag queen story hour leaflets. So, God, you know what I mean? But it's just like I was just handing them out, so they were getting one as well. I thought, well, fair enough, As long as they didn't single the guy out, but it's like, you'd sort of think I could just consciously not give them one because I don't think they're going to be receptive to the message. No, not these guys. They're just here, just take one. Yeah. He told me to fuck off, but what'd you do? I just ignored him and carried on. Oh well. Fair play. But no, some of these guys are and it's always the way. It's always the ones you don't expect to be the bravest who are.
Yeah, I mean, if for me to acknowledge that he's brave and insinuates that I'm a fucking faggot and a coward, like so.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
I know, but I'm not just. But no, fair play for the way.
Hang on 1 minute. I have to go and let the cat out 1 minute.
I need that. But no, I don't know if anybody's seen that video. I'm not a mod on your channel, so I can't post the link, but I'll post it in the senior thing, and you can post it. 42, you can post it like
what's this?
A wee white pill video, like, I'll be honest.
Right. Do you know what? I'm sat in my sunroom at the computer, and I've actually got the back door open, and it's 2 a.m.
Here,
Oh, fuck that. Like, I can't even open the window. I opened the window earlier on for a fag, and I've got 2 moths in my room. Like, fuck that. Fuck opening the door.
right, hold on. I just want to go through a couple of things in the chat. Linda, Chris is currently serving a week-long ban, so that's why you're not seeing any scrubbage. He's all fine, all he just can't post. Right, sorry. Resisting the lights. You want me to show a video there?
No, you don't. No, you don't. Well, you can share it if you want. Like, I
Right.
mean, 'cause I'm very biased because it's PA Scotland. Like, so of course.
All right. All right.
I'm not a mod, so I can't share it.
Right.
But no, that video was a like though. Like, quite entertaining.
Hold on.
It's not if you want to show it. Like, it's not that long.
Hold on.
There we go.
But that's still a fucking thing, you dickhead.
I was going to do a White Lives Matter banner under this for Indigenous people's sake, but
Yes,
I don't have one of those air cam things.
I thought it was a self-portrait of DJ.
No.
But you know, what a great thing for White Lives Matter.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, a pair of balls like that.
Sir Lavis Giant, that is, yep, down here in Dorset. I thought you might like that.
That's good.
Right. Is that link you've put in the chat, Resisting the Lies?
Well, the Bobby photo, no.
No, not
that's the video I was
this.
watching. It was on PA Scotland's Odyssey. Like,
Right.
but I'm not a mod, so I can't share it to the chat. So
Right. Okay. If I click this link,
you're not going to see Bobby photos. It's fine.
right. No. Right.
All I'm saying
how
is,
far is
if
it? How
PA
far is it?
Scotland don't get 3 for 3, then there is something fucking wrong.
Right.
How far have we fallen? Where it's like this, you're sending each other Bobby for this is a regular occurrence, is it?
No, I don't. They might. I don't.
No, there's nothing regular about what's happened in the last hour.
No.
Can I just say this? We don't normally go on to yarn bombing. We don't normally have pictures of chalk figures with a large penis.
I tend to 42.
Trying to entice Az to get involved with Bobby sending, and it's not happening.
God, I tend to have this effect on people. I managed to get Jason Cohn talking. About dry humping. So
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, I need to mute, man.
Right, Resisting the Lies. That link you gave me took me to a page with a load of content. So I don't know which video it was you actually wanted.
No, well, look, if you want me to play the video, I can play it. If no, it's fine.
Well, I've got it here. Well, I've got content. I've got some
Scotland's latest. Oh wait, maybe no. Do you know what I've done, Gudge? I've sent you the fucking
the channel.
Wait, here's it here.
Here
you go. Yes, let's get some additional votes for PA Scotland. There you go.
Right.
That's it.
No.
Can I just ask, is it a question? When was it that you got Jason Cohn talking about dry humping? Like
he was on PA Talk about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
I'm gonna
if you look at that, PA Talk 43 or 44 or something. I don't have a quick note.
No, I'm gonna fucking.
And it's quite good actually. Do you know what? It was probably our best episode. He was a very good guest actually. It has to be said. Because sometimes you think, I don't know if it's PA Tuck number 41. It was 8 weeks ago.
Right.
You think, he's maybe going to be a bit stuffy and all that, but he was actually very relaxed.
Even when he was talking about dry humping, like.
Oh yeah, rolling around laughing.
Okay,
Yep, roll ends up. I'm going to play that now.
No bother. White pill. Fucking white pill. Fair play to you boys, honestly.
It was. I was just having a think about it there, and we had, I think, 14 guys in Glasgow and 19 in Dundee, and I think it was only 4 people from Glasgow that were in the Glasgow George Square job, or at the Dundee job. So it shows you how many different people are involved. I mean, there's quite a collection of guys to varying degrees now, but yeah, good. I'm just sitting there watching it. Go, that's my banner. That's my banner. That's Kenny's one. That's Dave's one. You know, it's just sitting there doing that.
Yeah, even when I went on to the PA Scotland thing there, and when I clicked on the video that your man just shared there, I see they're related. I see the one that we did at Urquhart Castle, and thank God, the timestamp covers my fucking legs. When
it makes me laugh is you see the one from the Trig Point on Ben Nevis from the and there's 2 women at the bottom left hand corner. There's 2 women sat right, and I'm stood holding the sort of I'm always holding the sort of the, as you're looking at it, the left-hand side, like where the W is on the white. I'm always holding that end because usually me it's unraveled the bloody thing, and I'm actually in full argument with this woman whilst the drone footage is being taken. She's sitting there going, "Oh, shame on you! I've got mixed race grandchildren." So you got white grandchildren, yes. So well, think about them as well. You know what I mean? Think about them as well. Yeah, when they can't get a job and your mixed race grandchildren can, then maybe you'll think about it, you know.
Yeah.
But they had to endure her for 3 hours walking down the fucking hill. that was the worst of it. It's like, God, let's not upset and try not to upset anybody here, because it's going to take us like 3.5 hours to walk back down from the summit, and these people are going to be, you know, round and about you while you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, without a doubt. At least when we had our individual that tried to pull us up back in 2020, like he was, well, as I say, Kenny shut him down, like, but I mean, thank God we didn't have to walk down the mountain with them.
a lot of the time there is other footage out there of somebody going off at me like a banger about something, and a lot of the time if you just go yep, right, if you just go like that, they actually sort of talk themselves out of talking points.
Yeah,
and they sort of just talk themselves into like, well, I've said my bit now, so I'll just go. So sometimes just sort of standing there and sort of glibly going, yep.
Aye,
sometimes that's the best thing to do.
That's more or less what happens. As I say, I do have a follow up question, like, but then I realise that like this conversation sort of excluding the rest of people. So
that's all right. Go on.
But I wanted to say,
one of us is asleep anyway, so
it's always the same. But just to your point there, before my wee question, like, I remember now what Kenny said. The guy was like, "Oh, all lives matter," the proverbial shit. And then Kenny responded with, "Well, our lives matter too." And the guy was like, "He malfunctions." Yeah, and it just fucked off. And I was like, "Fair play to Kenny, Mal. Fair play."
Mean Beams. But the best one I've heard. This is the best reaction to confrontation, right? Mean Beam, our co-host on PA Talk, when he goes out leafleting, he takes a banana with him, right?
What?
He takes a banana with him, right? And if he gets into a confrontation with somebody, he says, "I'll just take the banana out, peel it, and just eat it while not breaking eye contact with the person." Well, actually, the best one to do. I've actually
what the fuck?
Steve Blake, who's a veteran nationalist. He's the Eastern region regional organizer. So take a pen, take a post-it and a pen with you and a post-it pad. He said, anybody says, "I don't want this through my door," say, "Right, could you give me your address and I'll make sure," because we are legally obliged to. If somebody says, "I don't want this through my door," you say, "Well, give us your address and we won't make sure you don't get a leaflet again." Right. And you're actually legally obliged to do that. So you're not asking for their address, though, even though you're legally obliged to do it. They go, "That's it. Just turn around. Well, I'm not giving you my address." And just walk away. Think, well, you might get another fucking leaflet then if you don't give us your address. But there it is.
Well, that's put a whole new meaning to banana nationalism.
Banana staring you in the face.
That's brilliant. Now, here, I just had one question, and then I'll let whomever else wants to come in after. Like, it's just obviously I live in the Scottish Highlands, as everybody's aware anyway. But PA Scotland's been going for a while. Is there quite a substantial amount of people now in the Highlands? Or are you able to say like?
I mean, no, as you can imagine, they are, but they're sort of kind of scattered about a wee bit because, I mean, let's be fair, the Highlands is a third of the country, or 40% of the country, so they are scattered around. Certainly more in the central belt.
Without a doubt,
yeah. I think our busiest cluster's probably our busiest region right now is Central, which encompasses sort of south of the M9, so south of the River Forth, not Lothian, but like Falkirk, Grangemouth, over to Lark Hall, Lanark, that sort of way, Cumbernauld, Coatbridge. That's probably our sort of our busiest region. That actually, them lads are actually out tomorrow, leafleting. So. I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm actually going out with one of our lads for a walk with the dog tomorrow morning. In fact, I need to get to fucking bed because he's sitting at my house at 8:30. But this is it. So there is. I was actually in contact with a guy a couple of nights ago. I spoke to him, and he's way up north. I mean, talking like Wick up north. And he's asking the same thing. Anyway, well, it's a few, but they're not quite as far north as that.
Very sparse. Like, I'm still to this day never have I met anybody in Inverness that's even remotely my way inclined. Like, but I do like the Inverness is very, not Inverness. The Highlands is very sparsely populated.
It's also still quite white. So I mean, when people don't see it, when people don't see the problem in front of them, they're less inclined to worry about it.
Yeah, that's what frustrates me.
Let's see what happens when what they were planning with Linton on Ouse, and that was to put the 1,500 migrants in the RAF camp. If they tried that up here somewhere, then all of us, do you watch people wake up then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. Even the Black Lives Matter protests that they tried when George Floyd died, like 2 years ago, it was just like 10 white people. That was it. All they could muster up here. They've probably seen more black people on TV than they've seen in Inverness, but
they absolutely have. The thing is, though, is you'll bump into the sort of occasional, the occasional sort of couple of black folk that you do bump into. You probably get on with them; they're probably very nice, and you probably think, well, what's the problem? But that isn't hordes of them coming over from Somalia.
Yeah.
See where these are at, going up these mountains and doing all that sort of stuff. I take it there's a tradition that is common in the more mountains, the Peak Districts of mounds of stones at the trig point.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Have you considered bringing a paint marker with you and lifting a stone and writing something on that and just leaving it on the pad?
I think that was done at Scarfell Pike.
Yeah.
The West Mids lads did something like that. I'm sure. It's certainly a thought. I must admit.
There's one up Binion. There's a stone up Binion that says Epstein did not kill himself.
That's very true.
Yeah, because I thought if somebody else is going to trip away up here, they might want that bit of information, and it would be a surprise to them to pick it up and actually see that there.
Yeah.
So.
Oh dear, right, lads, I'm gonna have to get off because I've had a pretty long day. Albeit I've had a couple of hours sleep in between it, but it's been nearly a 24-hour day now.
Yeah, it's getting close.
Okay, so I'm going to jump off. All right. Well, nice to speak to you, and I'll speak to you on a Wednesday night, then 42. Okay.
Yep. I'll see you
Good to hear from you, Si.
Rory, I must get in contact with yourself. We must have a chat one day.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Just email us at the Scotland page if you like. So it's scotland@patrioticalternative.org.uk.
Sure. Okay.
We'll have a chinwag. Okay.
That'd be fun.
Right, lads. Cheers.
Say, can you? Oh, fuck, he's gone. I was just going to say to make sure he emails me so as I can get in touch with him, but I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out.
42. Yeah, just going back to Resisting Lies for a moment about Inverness. I've only once been to Inverness. It was a good friend of mine's wedding, and drove all the way up from south of England. And it was during the summer, middle of the summer, and I'm in this pub, and they call last orders at 11 p.m. and it's still daylight outside. I've never come across that before in my life. It was like, this is really odd. You get, last orders and it's still daylight.
Are you trying to insinuate that the Indonesians are lightweights? To be fair, I can't really speak on that front. I don't really go out into town in Inverness because Inverness is very small. It's, and as it was said by Si, and I'll echo that sentiment. It's very white, but it's very grotesque. The nightlife scene's very grotesque in terms of it's just a bunch of cunts. Pardon my French. It's just it's violent.
Yeah, just a little bit. This is actually a little bit east of Inverness, and
that's very what do you remember what pub you were in or whatever? Like, because there is quite a lot of pubs that are open till late in the night. So
I'm going back 40 years.
Well.
No, I don't remember Resisting Lies. I'm sorry. No, yeah, lovely little pub, but.
It is a nice place, but
it was. I tell you what, it was where it is Baxter's Soup Factory. It wasn't far from there.
A soup factory.
Yeah, Baxter's
Soup. Anymore, to be fair, we don't have anything up here. It's a very sheltered town, shall we say? But I'll have a wee look now and see if I can find out what you're talking about. Soup factory, whatnot.
Baxters, Baxter's. I mean, they're a very famous soup manufacturing company.
Yes, even I've heard of them.
Baxter's, I've heard of them. I didn't know they had a place here. I don't think they do now, to preface. They might have back in the day, though. 2 seconds, I'll find out now.
Yeah, it definitely used to be up there. I mean, I could have a quick look. Bear with me, hold on. Baxter's Food Company. Yeah.
Baxter's Soup used to be at Baxter's. Othshire. If that makes any sense to you.
Does Falconer's ring a bell? The town?
Sorry, what?
Fochabers. Falconer's.
Falconer's.
Yeah. Let me just do.
That's a village in the parish of Belly in Moray. That's not Inverness. Like,
It's
that's
not. Well,
no,
okay.
just outside.
Oh,
So that's what because that's what I say. Like, there's no soup factory here. Like, you know.
well,
Not
it's down the road, isn't it? I mean, it's not that far. Well, it was between Inverness and Fothergill anyway. Probably Name. Is it Nairn or
Nairn? Aye, Nairn.
it was
Here's what they're planning. Nairn's about 20 minutes away from Inverness.
well, that's that. Yeah, that was the sort of area. But
And they're
as I said, I'm going.
they're planning to build. It's just every building site I've been on for years. They've been saying the same thing, but the plans haven't been finalised yet. But they're planning to put houses from Nairn all the way to Inverness, all the way to. It's going to be like the largest fucking housing estate in the entirety.
Really?
Yeah. And who do you think that's for?
Well, yeah, I can imagine. I know it's awful how they're just joining up the villages these days, villages and towns.
I mean, Inverness for the longest time was the fastest growing city in Europe per capita and whatnot. I don't necessarily know if that's the case for this year, statistically speaking, but for about the last decade it was. And that's not Scottish people. Yes, they might very well be French or Portuguese, but they're no fucking Scottish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are they building all these houses? Who are they for? Well, it goes without saying. It's no for us. Like,
Raymond Piper struck gold again. Rags, the ultimate chill stream.
Do you know what's funny about Ragnar? Is there's a channel on Telegram called Bard. I'm not in it anymore, admittedly, right? But the amount of times we would be sitting up all night having a couple of fucking swallies and Ragnar would start snoring. It's like deja vu, man.
Here's the thing. You were asking earlier how he gets all those guests. See, whenever you go to a channel, Rags has got a spanner.
I have noticed that. I have.
He's got a spanner fucking everywhere. And the other thing that you'll notice is wherever you go, Billy Blogs will turn up.
You mean Billy Briggs, Mr. Ferret journalist, eh?
Yeah.
I'm joking, bro.
Here, Billy, have a yes if this is right. I don't even know if this is a fucking screen memory or something, but there was one night I done my Saturday night stream, and then obviously I want like an hour or so to wind down before you attempt to go to sleep. And it must have been 3:30 in the morning, and YouTube directed me to this stream. There was like one guy streaming. There was 3 people in the chat, and I put a comment in, and Billy Blogs says, replies and goes, "What are you doing here?"
Do you know, it's funny you say that because I seen him on a stream. He'll know who I'm talking about. My best friend Billy. You are my best friend. There's a guy called Nightwave Mersh. Don't know if you know who he is. You might not. This is Mar. He's part of a duo that do Revenge of the Sis. And there was just one night randomly out of nowhere, I seen Billy in the fucking comment sections. I was, what the fuck is he doing here? Like, what? So he gets about, does our Billy, my best friend Billy.
He does. Right, we're coming to 2:20, and we're coming up to 3 hours. Hold on. I'm thinking about sort of winding this up. Hold on. Don Browning's chipped in here. As I said before, Rags did it to Mrs. Me and I on a Telegram live chat last year. We don't know whether to be worried or offended.
No, don't be offended. Like, if I took offense to every time he's done that when I've been in his company, we'd be mortal enemies. Like, so.
Right. Okay. Anybody, anything that the profound that they want to say or talk about?
Nah, not really. Like, just for me, I don't really necessarily know what the crack is for tomorrow night's stream. My old pal was supposed to be coming on with us, which admittedly I was actually really looking forward to. I haven't spoken to him in months, but he's effectively like, I'm going to sound like really gay here, eh? Like my best friend sort of thing. We just haven't spoken in a long time, but I don't necessarily know if he's coming on anymore because he's not reaffirmed his appearance, so to speak. He's just gone a bit fucking AWOL, so I don't know. But nah, apart from that, Spotty Dogs will have me on.
Always a pleasure to have you on, mate. Thanks very much, and I've really enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done as well. 42. We could talk about the Irish Civil War, but that would be another 3 hours, I guess.
Yeah, that would be another 3 hours. I'm going to get you on. We're going to talk about that at some stage. I'm not exactly sure when.
But no rush. I hope you don't mind bringing up the subject of wristwatches, but I know Si was an interested man. Let's just put it that way. But well, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. And good night.
Right. Random conversations are always good and welcome. Not a problem, that one. And again, thanks very much for coming on. I've really enjoyed your company.
Thank you.
Well, before you go though, just sorry to interject. You always like to play out your streams with a tune. I know.
Yes.
Let me provide you an Invernessian slanderous tune. I think that would be handy dandy, as they say.
What is this Invernessian slander tune?
Oh, I see. I'm getting it. Like, wait.
And who's it slanders to?
Slandering me? Well, not me personally, but Inverness.
Oh, right. All right. It's a tune that slanders Inverness. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Now I'm with you.
Okay. Getting it. And I'm about to send it to you now. Here you go. Okay.
What the hell just happened?
It's coming. I was typing.
Oh.
There you go. Right, I've sent it in the StreamYard. There you go.
Right, yes.
It's a self-deprecation.
Right.
Well, I know. It's quite a good tune, though, to be fair. That's funny.
Oh, right, okay. We're just getting through the adverts.
No, you need to get some ad block on the go. Like.
Right.
You get rid of these fucking moths.
Here we go. Share screen.
Adios, people, and I love you, my best friend Billy.
Right. Here we go. Courtesy of Resisting the Lies.
What's the crop like? Well, the ferry, Drakey's, Hilton, Milton, Kinmiley's, up the Bush, Belfield Park, and the islands after dark. Doors in, Charleston, Swift and Bullock, Culloden, down the Longman in the rain, feeling mental, great today. Inverness, what the hell? How you doing? No bother sell for shitty weather, drugs and business. Inverness,
No bother sell.
Business. What did Tarzan see when he found his screwdriver? There's it. Where'd you wanna drink? Well, we're going all in to the Sicilian, the Jolly Trooper, the Castle Topper, Cupcake Joxers, Dimes and Gallons, the City Bar, number 27, Phoenix Slaughters, Love to Love, Cake Exchange and Mambo's Hutch, Peepees, TVs, Johnny's, Riley's, Birdies, Keelmore, Hoot and Honey's, Blackbar, Foxes, Rock Nahani's, Tito's, Osborne's, Booze and Tommy, 20's, Zippin', the Portland Club, Market Bar, Choose Your Love, Ember Shaggy, you're a monster, fucking drunk or you're well hungover, for shitty weather, trust and business, Ember S, off the fucking business. Break, I'm breaking my neck for a piss like. They say the shack is like Morgue City, a population of brain-dead zombies, a high street full of neds and nuggets, a council full of corrupted muppets. The mentality is strictly we-free. They think the progress is taxidermy. There's 100 different pubs to go to. You got to be there before the curfew. The entertainment spectrum closed. From Eden Court to Rollerball. Well, the trees and the green fields have to go to make more Tesco's for more assholes. You're chuffed with yourself because you got Rock's Nest. But the local bands, you're not impressed. Your only value is in Southern Punters. You got no soul. You got rubber bumper. Spit that. Well. Choppies, Charlies, Leakies, Barleys, Fulton Square Menzies, W.H. Smith, Harry House, the Aquadome, Keswick Bridge, Howdens, Fort McDonald, Up the Castle, Inverness Men, Ouija's Hostel, Jenny Heapers, CCTV, BT's Pizzas, Judith's City, Farland Park, the Library, Spectrum Center, Molly Scully, Collie Thistle, the Golden Mile, BT Center, Matalan. Inverness, you're a fucking clown. Pretend to be a city, but you're barely a town. I've seen progress and you're not it. Inverness, you're fucking shit. How about we get Mumford and Sons, busking in Falcon Square? Why not put one of your own fucking bands there? But Ironworks is the only good thing you're going for you. The only vibrancy in Inverness is the local music scene. Why don't we take somewhere like Wind Park and put a fucking road through it? Because we're fucking idiots! Nice one, Inverness! Fuck you! I'm off the Dingwall! Yep.
Man, the Highlanders, eh?
That was class. Fuck. I don't know what the fuck just happened there. Anyway, my screen's all changed. I've been 42. You've been fucking awesome, and now I can't. What the fuck? Fuck. Yeah. Zoom out.
Boomer tech.
Yeah, it's worse than Boomer Tech. It is all zoomed up, and I don't have the fucking switch off going live button.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Zoom out. This is awkward.
This is awkward.
Yes, this is beyond awkward.
How awkward is it?
It's fucking mega awkward.
Just gonna take my top off and stuff, make it really awkward for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Oh fuck. Yeah. Going the full screen doesn't help.
For fuck's sake.
Oh, here we go. Right, I've been 42. You've been fucking awesome. Thank you. God bless, and hopefully see you all next week. I'm out of here. Goodbye.